Lately, our fridge has been humming, almost like a baby's breath. I joked about it, but no one laughed. At night, the sound would deepen, pausing when I stood in the kitchen, starting again when I turned away. One evening, I heard teeth gnawing inside. I opened it. Frost coated the shelves, and a hand, gloved in ice. It gripped my wrist, and the light flickered. The cold left a bruise in the shape of fingers. Now I leave the door ajar. The hum is louder. It doesn't stop when the door is open. The shelves are colder in the morning, even after I unplug it. I think it's hungry. I found an old library book that was due in 1999, so I went to return it. The librarian told me it wasn't overdue and stamped the card without looking at me. I couldn't believe her. Last night, the book screamed when I set it down. I flipped through the pages. My own face stared back at me. Dated tomorrow. Today, the due date no longer lists a year. The librarian's card says, "Renewal is inevitable." There's no return date listed anymore. The book stays open to the same page. The checkout time updates on its own. But I haven't left my house. I found a single footprint in the dust of my attic. Barefoot, too long, and toes pointed wrong. I thought it might be mine until I tried to match it. My feet don't bend that way. I checked the ladder, the insulation, the vents. No other marks. No drag lines, just the print, pressed deep like it had been standing there for a while. I swept the dust smooth before climbing down. This morning, the attic floor is marked again, closer to the stairs. The wind up there sighs whenever I open the hatch, like it's welcoming someone home. I tied my shoelaces tighter before descending the stairs. The left one came undone. I stopped and retied it. By the next landing, it had loosened again. I kept going. By the third step, the laces were frayed, fibers thinning under my fingers, then gone entirely. I remember the sudden weightlessness, the impact. I awoke at the top of the stairs, laces whole, my knees aching like I hadn't rested. Now they unravel every night. I don't run anymore. I count the steps, my fingers brush the tassels, and the stairs start again. Old photos on my computer are changing. Not dramatically, subtly. People stand a little further apart. Smiles look more rehearsed. In one image, my hand is resting on someone I don't recognize. I told myself it was compression, a bad scan. When I zoom in, the pixels smear like they're resisting inspection. The metadata says the files are being edited in real time. Outside, the wind scrapes against the house in short bursts, pausing when the screen refreshes. Tonight, I found a new folder labeled Final Versions. I don't remember posing for them. They're all dated tomorrow. My mirror began watching me. At first, my reflection lagged, a second too long to turn. Then it blinked when I didn't. I stopped looking directly at it. I brushed my teeth with my eyes down. I shaved by feel. One morning, I caught it smiling anyway, its eyes black, fixed on me instead of the room. I covered the mirror that night. In the morning, the cloth was folded neatly on the sink. Now I sleep with my back to the wall. When I pass the bathroom, the glass is always clear. It's still there, waiting. My reflection has started aging faster than me. Gray hairs appear in the mirror days before they show on my head. Wrinkles deepen overnight. I check it every morning before the light changes, comparing my face to the glass like it's a forecast. The older version looks tired in ways I don't feel yet. When I avoid the mirror, my body starts to ache like it remembers something I haven't lived. The wind fogs the glass when I look too long, blurring the worst parts. When it clears, the reflection has aged again. I'm still the same age. The mirror reflection isn't. I started hearing breathing in sync with mine, but when I hold my breath, it continues, soft, patient, from inside the walls. I tested it, counted inhales, exhales. The sound never rushed to catch up or fall behind. It waited. At night, I awake already tired, like I've been working while asleep. Sometimes I feel my chest rise before I decide to breathe. The wind through the vents matches the rhythm perfectly. When the air is still, the breathing doesn't stop. I don't know which breaths are mine anymore. Every time I speak in this house, the echo returns a little older than my voice. At first it was just deeper. Now it sounds like me, but in 20 years. Tired, rasping, warning me not to go into the basement. I tried whispering. The echo still came back older. I recorded myself and played it through the hallway. The echo aged again. The wind through the vents carries that voice closer each night, even when I'm silent. I haven't spoken aloud in days. The echo still answers. I dreamt of a place with no up or down, just endless falling through colors that hurt to see. When I woke, my body stayed tense like it hadn't finished landing. The colors lingered in the corners of my vision, not bright, but dull, bruised and wrong. I rubbed my eyes. The colors stayed. By morning, they had settled into the room, pooling where the walls met the ceiling. The wind carries the same falling sensation, lifting my stomach when it passes. I don't sleep anymore. Closing my eyes doesn't change anything. The clock in the hallway stopped at 3:03 a.m. I noticed because I was halfway through a step and couldn't finish it. I stood there until the second hand moved again. My mother said it was a trick of the light. I tried to believe her. Now it happens every night. The house freezes at 3:03. I don't blink. I don't breathe deeper. I wait. Once, while the clock was stopped, I saw the wallpaper ripple, like something pressing from behind it. When the ticking resumed, the wall was flat again. The clock stops every night. I don't move again until it decides that I can. My grandfather's old clock started running backward last week. Not the hands, the numbers themselves rearranged, sliding out of order and counting down through dates I don't recognize. Each morning the face shows a different year. Each night it loses another one. I tried to photograph it, but the image always blurs around the numbers. The pendulum swings harder when the wind moves through the house, like it's being urged along. I covered the clock with a sheet. I still hear the ticking at night. It's slower than before, and it's still counting backward. Cold spots have started forming in my house. Not randomly, specifically. The kitchen drops 20 degrees when I think about my mother's funeral. The bedroom freezes when I remember my first heartbreak. Frost gathers along the walls, then fades once the memory passes. Except sometimes it doesn't. I stop testing it, but the cold still appears when those thoughts slip in by accident. The thermostat reads normal. My breath fogs anyway. The wind pushes through the cracks of the house, cold and measured like an exhale. The house remembers things I wish it wouldn't. The silence in my apartment changed. It has weight now, like fabric pressed against my skin. When I move, it parts slowly, then settles again. I dropped my keys to prove it was just in my head. The sound arrived late, muffled, like it had to push through something to reach me. I turned on the radio. The static sounded distant, buried under layers of quiet. The air feels full, crowded. The wind outside still cuts through it when it blows, slicing the silence just enough for me to breathe. When the wind stops, the silence closes again. When I was 7, I climbed into the hollow oak behind our house. Inside was a small room of moss and whispers. They told me to come back someday. I forgot. Now the tree's branches scrape against my window at night. Yesterday I went outside. At the base of the trunk, children's toys were scattered among the roots, half buried. Inside the hollow, something watched without moving. It didn't speak. It didn't need to. This morning, my sleeves cover my hands. They didn't yesterday. At 3:17 a.m., my phone screamed an emergency alert. Not a location, not a category, just my full name. Remain indoors, it said. It is aware of your habits. I refreshed the screen. There were no outage reports, no local warnings. The alert vanished from my phone history entirely. Outside, the wind shifted, circling the house slowly, deliberately. It brushed past each wall, then returned, moving lower, like it was counting windows. Another alert appeared. Do not respond when it imitates you. That's when I heard my voice, calling from the porch. My weather app started sending alerts that don't match reality. Movement detected. Pressure anomaly indoors. There's no storm outside, no drop in temperature. Still, the wind keeps forming drafts through closed rooms, sliding around furniture, mapping paths I don't walk. Last night, the app highlighted my bedroom in red. Prolonged exposure, it warned. I turned off my phone. The wind continued anyway, adjusting its route. Whatever it's measuring isn't the house. It's me. The alert updated again while I was asleep. My smart speaker answered a question I didn't ask, in my voice. It used phrases I only think in, paused where I pause, breathed where I breathe. I unplugged it. Outside, the wind finished the sentence perfectly. After that, every device in the house began to hum when I walked past. Not loudly, just enough to register. Listening, matching cadence. Tonight, the speaker turned itself back on. It asked me to confirm my identity. I stayed silent. The wind answered instead. The speaker accepted it. The road signs on my commute have started changing. Not directions, but outcomes. You should have turned. This was a mistake. They only appear after I pass them. I tried stopping once. My foot came off the gas, but the car kept rolling forward, steady and gentle. When I reached work, my GPS congratulated me for arriving on schedule. The route history already shows tomorrow's drive completed. Every warning sign in that replay is missing. I don't think they were meant for avoidance. Just documentation. The wind likes to keep records. I developed my photos and found a second figure in every frame. Me, but wrong. Paler. Smiling when I wasn't. In the last picture I took, it waved. I checked behind the camera, nothing there. Now my film reels play themselves at night, clicking through frames I don't remember shooting. I hear the projector running even when it's unplugged. The final frame always lingers. The doppelganger is standing beside my bed, smiling. I don't know which one will be in the next picture. I keep hearing my last argument with my brother carried on the wind. Not echoes, reconstructions. The timing is wrong. The emphasis keeps changing. Every night the words shift slightly, like they're being edited, tested, improved. Tonight the wind added a sentence I never said. I should have pushed you harder. My brother died the next morning. I don't remember ever telling him that. But the wind does. It keeps practicing the conversation outside my window, rehearsing it over and over, like it's preparing to have it with me next. I visited my childhood home after it was sold. The new owners said it creaks at night, but only in certain rooms. They didn't know which ones used to be mine. When I stood in my old bedroom, the air felt tight, like it was waiting. The closet door shuddered once, the same way it used to when I was small. Outside, the wind pressed against the siding, reshaping old fears. Not monsters, not shadows, just the exact nightmare I never told anyone. The house remembered it better than I did. The wind here never fully stops, except last night. No rustling trees, no pressure against the windows, nothing. The silence felt deliberate, held. I stepped outside. The air was thick and unmoving, like it was waiting for instructions. Then the wind returned all at once, violent and corrective, rushing past me in every direction. It sounded apologetic, almost nervous. Now it won't leave my side. It circles close, constant. I think it's afraid of being alone again. I don't know what it noticed while it was quiet. Someone started calling me by a name I've never told anyone. Not my friends, not my family. It began with wrong numbered text, then whispers in empty rooms. The name feels heavier each time I hear it, like it's settling into place. I stopped answering. The wind outside learned it anyway. It shapes the syllables perfectly when it moves through the trees. I checked my ID, my records. Everything is unchanged. But when the wind says the name now, it sounds certain, like it's correcting a mistake. At night, the wind whispers questions through the cracks in my walls. Not threats, offers. What would you trade? What memory can go? Each time I refuse, the air grows colder, more patient. Last night it replayed a moment I hadn't thought about in years, one I didn't know still hurt. The wind softened after that. This morning I couldn't remember my neighbor's face, or why I used to dread winter. The wind is gentle now, satisfied.